Hi guys, and welcome to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comment section. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you've got a story you want to share with viewers, you can contact me on my email address listed below. Okay, let's get right into it, guys. This one is about China. China's new marriage laws. So the Chinese, they do things a little bit differently. But they're westernizing, and there's really not a lot of difference between the young kids coming through today than the young kids in the West. So my first experience with China was in 1994. I did the Trans-Siberian train from Moscow right across Siberia and into Beijing. And I went down the coast of China from Beijing down to Shanghai, down to Guangzhou, then over to Hong Kong. And what I noticed back then in 1994, there was way too many people in the country. Everything was overcrowded. The subway, the trains, the buses. It was just chock-a-block. It was just way too many people, and I just couldn't work out how you can run a country with so many people. So back in 1979, the Chinese government instituted a one-child policy on a massive scale, and that had major consequences for the country moving forward. Massive consequences, because if you just have one child, then that child has no brothers, no sisters. It grows up and it has one child. So, and that one child has no brothers, no sisters, no uncles, no aunties. And then that child grows up and has a one-child policy, one child. And the relatives are all gone, and the person is basically by themselves with very little relatives around, and it's very it creates all sorts of issues. So having one child can lead to a preference of boys over girls, and I'm not too sure whether there's been a lot of books written about it, but there must have been a massive amount of abortions, either during the trimesters or when the baby was born, which is absolutely cruel, absolutely cruel. I'm not too sure whether it's been documented or not, but at the moment there's about 30 million more Chinese men than there are women, because there was a preference in that society back then about boys over girls. So some horrible stories must have come out of China. But anyway, moving forward, China is a big country, and it's a sizable country, and there's a lot of false information that comes out of China. Nothing is that accurate. So, for example, when they report on GDP, the GDP grew by 5.46%. It's impossible to say that, because you can never have spurious accuracy with such a large population, and there's lots of guesstimation that's going on. So with the population figure in China, there's no way it's 1.4 billion. It's shrank quite considerably, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than 1 billion people, and they're going to have massive issues going down the track, because by the end of the 21st century, it's estimated that China will have a population of less than 600 million people. So, and they're feeling it at the moment with the surplus of houses. But anyway, going back to their marriage laws, there was only 6.1 marriages in 2024. 6.1 million marriages. Say their population is 1 billion. That's incredibly low. That means 6.1% got married. It's very, very low. And the divorce rate is huge. So back in 1980, the divorce rate was about 2%, and now it's over 51%. So it's higher than a lot of Western countries. So why aren't people getting married in China? Well, there's various reasons. I think the main reason would be the cost of living. It's very, very expensive. Housing, educating your kids or child, childcare arrangements, healthcare is incredibly expensive. And it's no different to the West, guys. The Chinese are having the same issues as you have in the West with cost of living. It's incredibly expensive living in the first world country. And Shanghai and Beijing are right up there in the top 5, top 10 in the most costly cities to live in. So there's been a lot of problems in China with people not having kids at all. and the population is massively shrinking. So what have the bureaucrats done, or the Communist Party done? They've implemented a new marriage laws. So there's 23 articles, and I won't bore you with all the 23 articles. I'll just take out the most important ones. So first, article number 3 is no bridal payments. So if in the old days in China, the custom was for the groom to give a monetary gift to the bride's family, and you see it on YouTube with families that throw themselves under the groom's car if they don't get a monetary payout of $50,000 on the day of the marriage. So that's been thrown out the window. So that's a positive, right? You're getting rid of old-fashioned customs that are no longer applicable in today's cost of living crisis. So gone is the bridal payment. So that's good. That's a positive. Article 6, 30 days post-divorce to cancel the contract. That means you can be married and then you can agree on a divorce. Then either party can renege on that divorce and cancel the divorce agreement, which is absurd, because once you agree to a contract's a contract. You can't just get out of it within 30 days afterwards. It's a cooling off period. I understand what they're doing with people that have done it in haste, but I don't understand that. I think that's a step backwards, and it will make it harder to get divorced. So what the Chinese government is doing is making it easier to marry but harder to divorce, and I don't know whether people will buy into that. So Article 8, gifting, stays with the child was gift to. So if the parents gifted the couple a house, it goes back to the son or the daughter whose parent gave it to them. So it doesn't get split 50-50, which is great. That's what should be in the West, that they're gifting. That's a good one. I agree with that. Article 9, previously all properties that were owned by the spouses were equally divided upon divorce. Now the rule's a lot simpler. Whoever paid for it owns it after divorce, even if the wife's name was added to the title after marriage. Once again, they tend to have a funny way to do their contracts over there, but that's a good point. Even because a lot of women insist that the title of the house goes into her name or jointly into her name and her husband's name, and that shouldn't be the case. And what this Article 9 is saying is that whoever paid for it owns it. So the title would get changed and the wife's name would be taken off it. So that's good. There's some good things to this refreshing of the marriage laws that the West can learn from. Article 14, the custody of the child is in the best interests of is based on the best interests of the child. So not necessarily going with the woman, not necessarily going with the guy. It depends on what's the best fit for the child. So again, positive. Article 16, child support payments made if the person can economically afford to. So this is something that the West can learn from, because in the West, child support payments can be absolutely crippling. And if you lose your job, or you have an economic downturn, your business is not going well, or whatever, you're still required to make those payments. And how many guys have been laid off, made redundant, whatever, and they're still going to make child support payments, and it's crippling them, and they'll let them fall back in it and get penalised. So that one's a good one too, Article 16. Article 17, the court will chase child support payments if the person paying can pay and is not paying. So same as the West, no issues there. Article 21, alimony. If one of the parents gave up their career to bring up children or a child, and there's an economic cost associated with that, then she needs to be compensated, or the guy needs to be compensated if he was a stay-at-home husband. So those are the relevant articles in the refreshing of the marriage laws. Some of them are fantastic, some of them are copied off the West, and some of them are archaic, like the 30-day cooling off period after the divorce is done. A lot of people won't buy into that. So again, this trying to socially engineer their society and make it easier to marry and harder to divorce. And with a lot of laws, it can have the opposite effect. So my personal opinion, I think the young kids coming through in China, and I have a lot of exposure to them because we have a lot of Chinese in New Zealand, they're no different to the West, absolutely no different. They want to do the gaming, they want the easy lifestyle, they want the freedom, they don't want to put themselves second, because when you have kids, guys, you got to put yourself second, and it's like a switch. You got to be able to switch over to putting yourself second and focusing on the person who you've made and who's now part of your family. And a lot of people can't do that. I've seen a lot of white women suffer postnatal depression because they can't switch over and put someone else first. A lot of guys can't do it. They get aggressive, hit the bottle, all goes downhill. And I think a lot of the kids coming through now is the me generation, and it's no different to the Western world. So I wish China well, but I think it's too late. I think that one-child policy completely screwed up the country. It would have happened regardless, because as a country gets wealthier and wealthier, the population decreases. So you'll see this with India. As they get wealthier and wealthier, they'll get the rich man's disease, where people don't have kids. They want to self-indulge on themselves and put themselves first. And it's just the market working by itself without any laws in place. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you got something out of it. China's refreshed their marriage laws. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. I think it's too late after the one-child policy, which was archaic and caused a tremendous amount of deaths. So let's see how it plays out. That's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment in the comment section, and you can also purchase Alpha Dating on Amazon Kindle. It can be in your inbox within seconds. There's fantastic blue and green flags that you need to know about when you're in a relationship or dating. That's it today, guys. Take care.